I'm Michael Starsheen, Archpriest of the Fellowship of Isis.
And we're here at the 19th Annual Chicago Fellowship of Isis Conference. And this is not the first time you've come to the Chicago Conference.
No, I came for the first time in 1995, which was a long time ago. And then in 2006 I came out. So I live in California, so it's a bit of a trek for me to come to the Goddess Festival, but I'm glad I'm here.
And are you enjoying it?
Oh, yes. Well, the Fellowship of Isis is an inclusive organization that believes in attempting to resurrect and reinvest the feminine principle of divinity into the world, to bring that back into public consciousness as a balance against the predominance of the male principle that's in deity now, that seems to be running the world. We're trying to bring this balance back into place through the Fellowship of Isis.
Very good. Now, you are an archpriest.
Yes.
And what do you do?
What I do is I coordinate between people around the world. I help preserve the legacy of the Fellowship of Isis and the concepts behind which the Fellowship operates. My job is basically, that particular job is basically administrative. To some degree. A lot of the archpriests and priestesses work mostly on their own stuff and then just peripherally on the Fellowship of Isis. I seem to work more on the Fellowship of Isis and then get my own stuff done, kind of in my own time.
Now, you have a couple of books here.
Yes, I do.
And would you like to talk about those?
Sure. I wrote 2 books. The first one is Universal Alchemy, and the second one is Mythic Voices. And Mythic Voices, I'll start with first, is a retelling of the stories of the Greek gods and goddesses in their own words. So each one tells their side of their story, which can get to be interesting, because if you take the myth of Demeter and Persephone, I have Demeter tell the story that's sort of the main one that everybody's familiar with. But then Hades tells his side of the story, and then Persephone tells her side of the story. And they're all slightly different. The voices are different. It's similar to the work that I read here at the Goddess Festival a few minutes ago, where I absorb the mythology and let it mulch in the back of my mind, and then I go into trance and I let the gods write whatever they want to write through me. And usually when I come out of trance, it's the first time I have any idea what they've actually said. So they're very unique voices in the book. Universal Alchemy, on the other hand, is a manifestation of what I call the ninefold soul from Egypt. And it involves learning how to attune with the elements, with landscapes, with the sun, the moon, and stars, and learning how to let go of the purely physicality of the body and feel the rest of what's around you and become part of it at such a fundamental level that you're resonating with it very strongly. So Universal Alchemy basically is a workbook to teach people how to do that. So I wrote them a couple of years ago. Currently, I'm working on some study guides for the Fellowship of Isis liturgy. The idea is that you take the drama itself and then I create a series of questions that people can use to investigate the symbolism, the mythology, the other aspects of the work that Lady Olivia and Ward Lawrence put into the liturgy. And what that does is it gives people a better foundation for participating in the rites and getting more out of them. Because the more you know going in, the better you get results. So,
would you like to say a few words about Lady Olivia?
Lady Olivia has been a friend of mine for a long time. I joined the Fellowship of Isis in 1993, and my proctor suggested that I write Lady Olivia, and I used to have quite a correspondence going with her. Currently, she is unwell. She broke her ankle and has been in the hospital for a couple of months. which is part of why she's not doing a lot of traveling. I mean, she'll be 97 next year, so she's getting a little fragile. But she's been a good friend for a long time. And it was actually very funny because when she named me archpriest, I was horrified. I felt like I had a target on my back, because this was not something I asked for. She did not ask me. She just sent me the certificate. And so I confronted her at ISIS Oasis about this because I really didn't want the job, And in that slightly fruity voice that she has, she says, "It wasn't me, it was ISIS." So I gave up and soldiered. I mean, if it was ISIS that made me an archpriest, then I'm going to do what I'm told to do, But yeah, I view the different titles that we have in the FOI as different lines of service that we give to the gods. It's not a hierarchical thing. It's more a matter of you've got another job title, you silly fool. You've got being a priest in the Fellowship of Isis means that you've become a servant of the gods and the goddesses. That's a very different thing than what we modern people think of as priesthood or ministry. It's not necessarily about ministering to a crowd of people. It's actually about listening to the gods and finding out what it is they want you to do, for them. And sometimes it's convenient and sometimes it's not. But then you get the other titles that go on in the fellowship, and they're all about just different levels of jobs that need to be done and taken on. For example, as a hierophant, I work specifically with the liturgy, and that's part of why I'm doing the study guides. That's how I'm called to work with the liturgy, is to help people find ways to get more out of these plays. I don't necessarily do like we're going to do tonight and put on mystery plays, because I'm a very solitary person. I live in the middle of nowhere, and I tend to be a bit of a hermit. But I study the liturgy, and I have performed many of the dramas by myself and with others over time, and find them to be extremely powerful tools for transformation. That's been a passion of mine since I got into the FOI and discovered the liturgy. I have a temple out in California. It's called Temple of Isis of the Stars. And it's in two parts. I had a building in the back of my property that has an outer shed and an inner shed that butt up against each other. So we knocked a hole through to make a door into the inner temple. The outer temple has altars to the gods and goddesses of different pantheons around the world. So we've got, this altar over here is the Hindu gods and goddesses. And this one over here is the Polynesian gods and goddesses. And we've got the Greek gods and goddesses and the Norse and, Orishas and all kinds of different people in there.
Make sure Dimitri
Then
knows I'm
the
here.
inner sanctum is the center of Isis. And the Egyptian gods are standing on the sides of the temple as her associates leading up to the main altar where Isis is seated. And I use my temple as a meditation center and as a place to do ritual mystery dramas. It doesn't fit a lot of people. It can't handle a cast of thousands, but it works. And people are welcome to visit. If they happen to be out in my area, I am willing to show the temple off to anybody that wants to come by and see it.
And if people would like to learn more about you and would perhaps like to visit your temple, where would you send them?
Go to my email address, which is mastarsheen@att.net, and they can get in touch with me. The town that I live in is called Dunsmuir, California. It's about 10 miles from Mount Shasta by the Oregon border, in the far north of the state of California. So it's actually not that hard to get to, but it is in the middle of nowhere. very rural area. Chicago has been a shock because Chicago, I mean, just looking at the traffic around here is boggling my mind. A traffic jam in Dunsmuir is when two cars pull up side by side and open the window and talk to each other, you know.
So it's a bit of culture shock.
It is a culture shock, but I'm enjoying it. You know.
So last night we had the Dulce Domum for Lady Dina,
Right.
who hosted this festival for many, many years.
Yes.
Would you perhaps like to say a couple of words about Lady Dina?
Dina was an interesting person to work with. She could be very, very pleasant, and she could be very, very unpleasant if she happened to be in the wrong mood and you caught her at the wrong time. I had a tendency to rub her the wrong way a lot of the time, but we were able to work well together despite our differences and be able to manage things such that we got stuff done. And that was a credit to Dina for doing that. It was very important that she do that and that I was able to be part of it. I really enjoy having been able to come to the goddess festivals, and that Dina was very welcoming to me when I did that. It's nice to go somewhere where you feel wanted, where people want you to be there. It's a nice feeling.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.